Hi, welcome to MathyMama.com. I'm really excited you've joined me today. We're going to be talking about addition and subtraction in kindergarten. We're going to look at the standards and identify where we expect students to create concrete models, representations, and have abstract understandings. When we begin looking at the standards, I like to look at counting and cardinality. There are many skills in counting and cardinality that support students with success in addition and subtraction. I want to note CC3, which is where we expect students to write numbers from 0 to 20. This is a discrete skill. This is not embedded in the addition and subtraction standards. That means students may be able to add and subtract, but not write the numbers. Please assess these separately. When we look at Operations and Algebraic Thinking, we find all of our students' addition and subtraction standards for kindergarten. I'd like us to look through and identify where we expect students to have a concrete understanding, representations, and abstract thinking. Notice that OA1 is asking students to represent addition and subtraction, whereas OA2 is asking students to solve word problems and add and subtract within 10. 3 is sometimes confusing, decomposing numbers less than or equal to 10 into pairs. People get confused how this is different from the others. This is asking students to know that 7 can be broken up into 2 different parts. As we look through, we see that we're representing addition and subtraction with objects, concrete understanding. We're solving addition and subtraction word problems and adding and subtracting within 10 with objects. We're decomposing with objects. And for any number from 1 to 9, we're finding its partner or friend or pair, whatever you call it in kindergarten, that makes 10. I used to call these number bonds. Again, with objects. All concrete understanding. Beginning to look at representations, we want students to build a concrete model. For example, here's the number 7. It's 5 and 2 more, or 4 and 3 more, or 2, 3, and 4 more. How do I draw a picture of that? Those representations are really important for students to connect their neurons, to get those synapses firing so that they make a real conceptual understanding. So here, we're representing with drawings. Here, we're representing with drawings. Here, we're representing with drawings. And again, look at that. In every situation, we're starting with a concrete model, and then the students create a representation. Now, what happens with those worksheets? They create the representations for them. Let the students build a model and then draw a picture of it. They might make a messy drawing, and after they draw it a few times, it'll get neater and neater until it's beautiful. The real question in kindergarten is, when are students expected to have an abstract understanding of the skill? In representing addition and subtraction, down here, it has equations. Notice it says or equations. This is not and equations. They may be ready for it and they may not be. It's our job as their teachers to assess if they're ready to move into an abstract understanding or to write those equations and numbers. And in solving addition and subtraction word problems and add and subtract within 10, it doesn't say equations. It just says by using objects and drawings to represent the problem. Decomposing, we might use an equation. And with our number bonds, we might write an equation. This is confusing because there's overlap. And so in some cases, you may be confused if they're supposed to write an equation or not. My tip: if a student can create a model and they can draw a picture of it, why not introduce the equation? But wait until the students are ready. Let's not push them along too fast. There's one more standard hiding down here that I couldn't fit on the screen, and this is our fluency standard for kindergarten. In kindergarten, we expect students to have fluency within 5. Now, that doesn't mean just 5. That means that they understand their facts to 3 and 4 and 1, all of them. Here, we do want students to have their abstract understanding fully developed because in first grade, they'll have to be fluent within 10. But fluent does not mean memorized facts from flashcards. It means that they have skills and strategies to be fast and accurate enough to not hinder their process. This might mean that they've done it on their fingers so many times that they just know it now. So what does this all look like? We expect students to have concrete understanding of adding and subtracting all within 10. This means they can build a concrete model accurately, and they can represent it with a drawing or a picture. And when they're ready, and if they're ready, we push them into abstract. We also want them to we want them to solve word problems. Again, within 10. Now you noticed that our CC standard was for students to write numbers within 20. And we do want them to understand place value within 20. But with addition and subtraction, they're always staying within 10. Again, creating concrete models, moving into the representational, and finally into the abstract when they're ready. And that last standard that was hiding is our fluency standard. Here, they are fluently adding and subtracting within, 5. This means that students are using blocks or their best tool in their toolkit, their fingers. If you don't believe me, look up the science on dactylonomy and teach the students that word. They love it. I'm going to use my dactylonomy. Or maybe they're even using teddy bears. Give them context. And then they're drawing pictures or models of the work that they created. Eventually, they won't need the concrete anymore, and they'll be able to just do the representation, but not until they're ready. And finally, that abstract understanding says that they can use equations and numbers. Let's not push students too quickly through this. They need that concrete understanding. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any best practices or tips or tricks or strategies or advice, you're the experts. Drop it below. Share with us. We want to know how you do it. I'm Matthew Mama. I'll see you next time.